historian.
Hey everybody, coming to you from the fringes of downtown, some of Portland State right there, rolling through downtown, and I'm headed towards Union Station. Before it crosses the bridge, I'm going to get off. About 9-10 months ago, I produced a video for my old channel about Portland Firehouse number 2, which is kind of, it's not abandoned, but it looks abandoned. It's kind of a forgotten spot. And if you take the green line, which this one is, once you cross the steel bridge coming into downtown, or right before you cross it leaving downtown, you pass, it literally passes right in front of it. So you can see it all the time. I'm sure a lot of people see it and are like, what the hell is that? But anyway, I wanted to go back to that spot, so I'm heading there now. And before I continue, I'm going to play for you the video that I posted, since it's no longer up. So it'll give you an introduction or rundown of the location, so you can get a good intro on that, and then you'll come back to me. I didn't see any homeless people back here, so I'm going to take a walk up to the location that actually really, for the first time, sparked my interest in historical buildings, urban exploration, the whole freaking bit. Because this particular building stands along the Green Line for the MAX train. If you cross the steel bridge into Portland, you pass right by it and in front of it. So when you're on that MAX train, you never ever miss it. And there are buildings like this all over town, except this is the one, I think the only one, that is in decrepit condition. And that building in particular is Portland Engine House number 2. Built in 1913 and for decades served as the primary firehouse in kind of this northwestern edge of downtown. Now, unfortunately, due to our close proximity to Chinatown, it appears more homeless people have been kind of lingering around here. You can see there's some old trash left behind there. You know, just another example as to how out of hand this whole homeless issue in Portland's getting. You know, nobody cares. But yeah, this building was actually in use until 2000, despite its condition, which would make you think it had been closed a lot longer. This building actually was being used up until 2000, when it was shut down because of structural issues, code issues. It's actually very interesting. If you look at it from across the street over there, looking back this way, you get like a full kind of profile view of the building. You'll actually note that it is not quite balanced. It actually leans slightly back. Now, the reason for that is because while they were constructing this building, there was a massive flood through here because we're right by the river, and they didn't have, you know, the elevation that they used to. And the flood came through, and it hit this building so hard that literally it cracked it in the middle while they were constructing it. Because obviously it wasn't fully finished off, it wasn't fully structured. And instead of cutting their losses, tearing it down, and rebuilding it, they just kept on constructing it. So it was always a little bit off balance, which is so interesting considering the fact that it's still, you know, standing here the way that it is. It literally smells like piss over here. But you know, one of the things I love the most about the old firehouse building, in addition to its state, like again, all the other ones have been well preserved, this one's been just kind of left here to fall apart, is the story behind it. Now, the story goes, the mayor of Portland, Harry Lane, I believe was his name, he wanted a firehouse in this area because there wasn't any here, and you know, it's on the fringe of downtown. All these, you know, Chinatown buildings are really old down here, so obviously there was, you know, commerce through here, but there wasn't really a firehouse in the vicinity, so he really wanted to build one here. The land was open. However, the land was owned by the Oregon Transfer Company, and they didn't want to sell. So here's where it gets really interesting, because here's where blackmail comes into play. Then again, when has blackmail never been involved in politics? The mayor of Portland finds out that the Oregon Transfer Company has been illegally using, railway lines. I mean, obviously these are new, but railway lines, through Portland to do their work. They were using them illegally. So he brought this information to them and said, well, you either sell me this land so I can have my firehouse, or, I think his words were, I'll literally go down and rip up the rails that you're riding on and ruin your business. So what the hell could the transfer company say except, okay, fine, take the land. So the mayor got his way and we got our firehouse here. And if this had never been built here, who knows how much longer it would have taken for me to take a vested interest in historical buildings, urban exploration, things like that. You always have a general interest in old historical things, but this is what really blossomed mine. So in conclusion, I really hope the city of Portland, keeps their wits about them and doesn't, try to destroy this beautiful old building. Beat up though it looks. I mean, it's practically an icon. When people are traveling off the steel bridge and down the light rail line, this is literally the first thing they see, is an awesome piece of Portland history. Not just that it's a random building, but it's a history of, firehouses in Portland, public works, public service. So there's a bunch of cars coming through here now. So on that note, I'm gonna leave you guys. Next time you're traveling down the Green Line, if you've never taken the time to look, speaking of, there's a Green Line train coming right now. But yeah, the next time you're coming across the bridge down the Green Line, keep your eyes focused to the right side of the train and you'll see this location if you haven't before, and it's really awesome. See you guys next time. Hey guys, I'm back. I'm just walking past Harvey's, this old kind of comedy club place. Just closed down. Iconic place just gone. But anyway, I'm processing forth towards the steel bridge, heading back towards Portland Engine House number 2, and I'm coming from the less conspicuous angle that I approached it from in the video I did before, because there's been a slight increase of questionable people in the area. I'm in Chinatown right now, so I'm already brandishing a knife. It is unfortunate that Chinatown's already kind of dangerous. They're trying to fix it up kind of, but it's like it's getting more dangerous with how dangerous it already was. There's like one of these that may have been in this building over here that's now apartments. There was a guy that literally got murdered in his apartment. And crack, crack alley used to be on the east side of the river. Now Chinatown's kind of a new crack alley. I mean, you encounter, and there's so many homeless people around here, and most of them don't really talk to you or bother you, but you run into the wrong one, and you'll get attacked. Here we are. Here I am, I'm back. Portland Firehouse number 2, waiting to cross the street. And there's a specific reason why I came back here. Noticing that window off to the left there is open. It wasn't like that before. If you go down that way, I mean, you literally have to look over your shoulder. And then I look up here, and the place is still gorgeous as ever. There's no trespassing signs and fences up here. This has been kind of more intensely put up because a few days back, a random fire, I say random because I still don't know the full story, a random fire broke out on the backside of this building. I'm just noticing some of the intricate fractions in the brick that you can see, which I think was all the result of, as I said in my old film, when the flood came through here, see there's a big one right here. When the flood came through, it literally ripped this place in half. And they just kind of put it back together. I've never really paid attention to how beautiful this kind of, I'm assuming this just naturally has been growing on the building. And see, you look up here, this upper window has had the wood that was covering it kind of knocked out. Some more exposure. Because yeah, oh god, you can see the fire damage right there. Here's this old doorway. Look at the black. It's probably just steaming out from under the door, and you notice the window next to it is fully exposed. Pretty much all these windows have been boarded up. But obviously they had to get in. Again, they said it was on the back side of the building, which is where I am. And you can see where they had to like break things out to gain access. So I mean, it looks, I mean, the overall damage doesn't look horrible. I mean, the building's always been in rough, or at least, you know, in recent years has been in rough shape. But this really worries people, myself included, when we all heard that this place had caught fire. For myself personally, I went into full panic mode when I first heard that the place caught fire, because I figured it burned down, it got torched, it's gone. But yeah, it doesn't look like it did horrible damage, but what worries people is that whenever things like this happen, these kind of old beat up places, especially in Portland, have a fire that happens, the immediate following result is that, you know, it's not safe anymore, let's just tear the whole place down. Case in point, there was a house in kind of the Reed College area that was built in the 1890s. The school bought it, and then randomly the house caught fire one day, and almost immediately the college said, let's just, we're just gonna have to tear the whole place down. And so they did, they tore the house down. There's just an open, you know, yard there now. So people worry, especially, you know, places like this that are so beat up, but I mean, they're rustic. This is our history, and people really worry. You know, when fires like this suddenly happen, they worry about whether this is, you know, the death knell for places like this. Is this place gonna get, you know, demolished? And then, you know, they're gonna put another apartment like this here, some kind of office building to, you know, go with these other ones. And so because there has been, I mean, there's always homeless people all over the place. We're in Chinatown, or fringe of Chinatown. Like, technically, I'm not really in Chinatown, but across the street is Chinatown. We're in Chinatown. But the homeless element has only recently kind of made its way this far over. A number of times I visited this place, never saw a homeless person until I did my last video on it, but I'd been here numerous times before then, and that was the first time I actually saw a homeless person here. So, you know, that's one of the theories. Some homeless people maybe broke into the building or were hanging out back and ended up starting a fire, but, you know, there's lots of theories. Kind of an older hippie type guy. He saw me videoing the building. He's like, "You know what that is, don't you?" I was like, "Oh, I know what it is," and he laughed and nodded. I'm the amateur historian. I know everything. Man, people are fighting behind me. Time for me to hit the bricks. I just wanted to do another visit here. Keep you updated on this, you know, awesome place. It's still here. You know, keep my ears open for any nefarious activity on the part of the city or whoever runs this place to try to sell it off and get it demolished. I will be so pissed if that happens. But, you know, it came through with a few bruises. The old firehouse is still alive. It's still kicking. It's still falling apart with the grace of God and the greatest of ease. And it's still there. Thank God, unlike so many other places in this city. So that'll do it for this little return video, giving you a full overall comprehension of what's going on. And all that said, my fellow adventurers, this has been Steve the Amateur Historian, and I will see you guys next time. Hey there! I just finished the end of my thing and a police car goes by and I'm like, ugh. Wonder if these guys are gonna hassle me. Officer just looks out the window at me, he's like, hey, how you doing?